In this video today, we're going to make some poached salmon with a creamy lemon dill sauce that we will be serving on top. What it means to poach something is to cook it in a small amount of liquid. So I have gotten ready in this pot half a cup of rice vinegar, the juice from 2 lemons, which is approximately half a cup, 2 cups of water, 6 black peppercorns, and some bay leaves. So I'm bringing that to a boil. And what we're going to do is we're going to end up baking this in the oven. And I've got 2 nice salmon fillets, and they have been put into this corning pot with the skin side down. Now, my sauce has come to a boil, so I'm going to take the lid off, and I am simply going to pour this over the top of my salmon. Now, once we have poured that over the top of the salmon, what we see is it is mostly covered, but it's not completely covered. So it is probably 3/4 covered with this liquid. I'm going to put a lid on this, and I'm going to put it in the oven to bake for about 15 minutes at 400 degrees. So I've got my lid. I'm going to put this in the oven, and I'm going to be right back. While this is cooking, we are going to make the sauce. Now that our salmon is in the oven for 15 to 20 minutes, we are going to go ahead and start making the creamy sauce that is going to go on top. And I'm going to show you what I'm doing. I am going to use, you can use a shallot, or you can use an onion. If you use a shallot, use the entire shallot. Shallots are going to be something that is not as spicy as onions. If you don't have a shallot, which I don't have a shallot today, I'm actually going to use an onion. And I'm going to make these pretty small. And the onion that I'm using here is a white onion. And the white onion that I'm using probably about 1/4 of that white onion. And again, I want to cut these pieces nice and small for what I will be doing. So I'm cutting them really thinly as I work my way through this. If you are not comfortable cutting them thinly this way, you can always cut by rocking back and forth like this to cut them nice and small so that you don't have large, overwhelming pieces of onion that are in your sauce. So you can cut them in many different ways. I like to cut them small just because I don't want to have a big piece in there. So I'm going to cut, again, this is about 1/4 of a white onion. And I'm cutting these slices, again, very, very thinly so that I don't have an overwhelming flavor or big chunks, basically, of my onion within the sauce. All right. So I've got my onion that I have nicely sliced up. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to slice up half of a cucumber. But before I do that, I'm going to take my onion, and I'm going to put my onion into the bowl that I will be mixing my creamy sauce in. Okay, so that's going to be about half a cup of onion. Now, I'm going to slice my cucumbers fairly thin as I go through. If you are worried about the cucumber rolling while you are cutting it. You can always cut it in half because we're going to be slicing these up anyway. And this way it doesn't move around, it doesn't roll. So before I get to that, I'm going to go ahead and slice the pieces that I have up. And I'm going to slice them pretty small. This is going to be similar to if you've ever gone to a Greek restaurant. This is going to be somewhat similar to a tzatziki sauce, which is a sauce of yogurt and cucumbers with some spices in it. I'm going to slice these up nice and small to put in. Again, we don't care about if they're all the exact same size. You've heard me say that before. As long as you have the flavors in there, every bite will be a little bit different. All right. So I'm going to take the rest of the half of my cucumber. Now notice that this is not rolling. So because it's not rolling, it makes it a lot easier for me to control the movement of it as well as the movement of my knife as I'm going through. I love a good tzatziki sauce. Now in this, we are going to be using the juice from 1 lemon, which is give or take about a 1/4 cup. But on top of that, I am also going to be zesting some lemon into the sauce. I really like the flavor of lemon and dill together. So I really like to have that flavor. In this sauce, on top of the cucumbers and the onion that we have already cut up, we will also be adding, like I said, about a 1/4 cup of lemon juice from a lemon. If you have lemon juice that didn't come from a lemon that came, like some organic lemon juice that comes from a container, again, this is going to be about a 1/4 cup. We are going to add a tablespoon of dill to this that is dried. If you have fresh dill is better. I just don't happen to have any. So with fresh dill, you would use about 2 of the sprigs. Okay, so 2 of the long pieces of that dill in there. All right. So I will cut the rest of that up later. And I want to add this to my bowl that has my onion already in there. All right. To this, because I like tzatziki sauce, I am going to use Greek yogurt. And this is 1/2 cup of Greek yogurt that I am going to add to this. I am also going to add 1/2 cup of heavy cream. You can add other kinds of cream to this if you want, like a coconut cream. I'm going to add my 1/4 cup of lemon juice. I am going to, my parrot has something to say about this. I'm going to add my tablespoon right now of my dill. And I'm going to mix this in. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and add the lemon that is on top. All right, so microplaning with this. I like to do it with a microplane upside down, and I like to rub on the outside. That way I can have control over where my zest is going and see how much there is. I'm actually going to zest this entire lemon. I love the flavor of lemon and dill together. I know we put lemon juice in it, but when you zest a lemon, it just has such a bright and a wonderful flavor that goes to it. And so I really want this bright flavor to be part of my sauce. So you can see that I have zested the outside of that lemon. Now I simply just tap this into there. If there is a little bit left, the nice thing is because you have flipped the plane upside down, you can run your fingers on the inside. You're not going to cut your fingers because the pieces that would cut would be on the outside. Now, to this, I'm going to add about a teaspoon of salt. And you guys have seen me use, I like pink Himalayan sea salt. It's got a good flavor. I'm going to add some sea salt to this and mix that in. I am also going to add about half a teaspoon of black pepper. That is going to go to this. You can see that this is a nice sauce. It's got some good chunks in it. And that is my onion, that is my cucumber. You can also see that the dill that's in there. So this is what I will be drizzling on top of my salmon when my salmon is complete. My 15 minutes is up with cooking of my fish. So I'm going to take it out. Whoops. And I'm going to put it on a plate. And on top of this, I am going to drizzle my sauce that I made to give it that nice flavor. I want to thank you for joining me in making our poached salmon meal. This is going to be a great meal. You can serve it by itself. I'm actually going to serve it with a little bit of rice. Thank you. Again, as always, let me know your comments. Let me know if there is anything that you would like to see. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Happy eating.